Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief, Jerry Doby, and today, I got one of my West Coast hip-hop heroes on the line by the name of Myka 9.
Hey.
He is an author. He is an inimitable hip-hop lyricist and stylist. The brother is the only one that I know that successfully blends jazz for real with lyrical missiles and puts it down in an undeniable manner and has been doing so for decades. I appreciate you for spending the time with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man. Thanks for having me.
Man, we have given so much homage to the East Coast and those that have put it down and gave us a culture that oftentimes we neglect to dip into the underground from the West Coast, and those who extended the reach of that culture. And you've been around rocking as far as back as ghostwriting on NWA and the Posse in '87. You were doing it before.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? But you gave the ones who got the major commercial success an opportunity. You opened the door for them. So from the inside looking out, could I get you to describe the artist Myka 9 and the leader that you are?
Thank you once again. It's all love. To describe Myka 9, it goes into aspects of what he does as an artist, what he does professionally, which is rhyme. And with that said, he kind of developed his own time in the way that he would write down those different lines. And so through the years, depending on who would hear him, i.e. me, demonstrate those vocal designs, whether I call myself MMC, Microphone Mike, or Myka 9, people were able to learn that there is a more open way to approach rhythm, cadence, and rhyme. So in the description of Myka 9, I'd say he's a innovator and virtuoso of freestyle rhyme, as well as applying music theory to a certain degree and different forms of music into a general and acceptable or avant-garde even vocal approach. Some also call me the father of the chop, but I know I'm not the only one.
Well, you're the one who made it glaringly beautiful.
Thank you, brother.
You know what I mean? So I became familiar with the underground, and I call it off the grid hip hop just because the major record labels were trying to ignore what was really going on and the difference makers in the community. Freestyle Fellowship and those were my introduction, and the Dragon's Den, people from the Dragon's Den, Freestyle Fellowship, and Global Flotations and things like that was my introduction to like real West Coast lyricists. And you touched all of that. And they have a common denominator, and that is, Myka 9. Talk to me about the defining moment that made you step into the arena of hip hop.
Good question. It might have been from one of my first rap sessions, whether it was in the back of the bus during mandatory busing. I used to go to Hillcrest Elementary, but then in the 6th grade, they made me go to Walgrove Elementary by Venice High. And just a little more Western, when that bus ride still took the better part of an hour lining everybody up and traffic. So some of my first raps were kind of graphic. kind of braggadocio, kind of nasty, if you will. And I started rapping in the 6th grade. I'm 53 now. Whereas in the 6th grade, some of the raps had adult themes. I'm in the back of the bus, and every day I'm coming with a different rapper every other day to entertain the back of the bus, to where the bus driver wouldn't even put on K-Day or let the radio play. They just wanted to hear what I had to say. And then people would beat on the back of the seats. And whatever little rap I rapped about, by the time we knew it, we were over there by the beach. So that might have been when I opened up into the aspect of rap. But this is pre-hip hop culture.
Right.
So far as my education goes, hip hop culture was established, no doubt. However, I wasn't aware of it until a couple years later. So by 82, 83, I'm like, okay, I'm a B-boy, I'm a rapper. And I'm not knowing that it's not a regional culture. It's all over the map. By the time I'm going to Audubon Junior High, some kids are coming and reciting, we're reciting Dolomite rhymes or Blowfly or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm already, well inducted with the Sugar Hill gangs and all of that, but I'm, busting my own stuff. And I don't think I really got on stage formally and performed until maybe I was on like a PA announcement for Audubon or like I said, the back of the bus performing. But, the bus is driving, it's bouncing, and, there's a lot going on. It's not really like a performance per se. So even in the streets off of Highland, Hollywood, as sort of a pseudo street performer, a beat rapper, circa 82, 83, I was able to make a little coin, put my Kango down on the ground, and then sometime other MCs would join. But then once I got into high school and got with real rap crews and was b-boying to the fullest with my rhyme book, I'd say those pep rallies, those talent shows, those Dr. Martin Luther King rap contests, because I'm born January 15th, that gave me a little bit more of a connection with his dream. Yet by the time I'm at Dorsey High, from Birmingham to Dorsey High, and Fairfax to Dorsey High, I'm able to not only join the drama class and perform in those plays, but also rap PA announcements and pep rallies and battle. So I became seasoned. And toward the end of that year of the 12th grade class of 87, I'm performing 87, 88. I did my first rap in a club. Rule Allah was on the bill, peace to the God. Tone Loc, TDF, and Queen Latifah was the headliner. I think it was her first time rapping out here in LA. And at the end of her set, she said, does anybody else want to come up and rap? The place was packed. Spotlight comes on me and they part the crowd like Moses. I hit the stage and I blow up. It was very, very explosive. And that was when I knew I was really formally into the arena of not only being an MC, b-boy, sessioning, thoroughly freestyling by then, but as a performer. So it brought all of those different aspects full circle. And I remember at the end, Latifah gave me a kiss on my cheek. I didn't want to wash my cheek for a week.
No doubt, no doubt.
Because I blew up. But yeah, that was it. B-boying and whatnot, circa early mid-'80s on through. And that's him.
Okay. I think that as I started to, venture out of bounds for me to like Leimert Park and hit Good Life Cafe and things like that, those were some of like the best times of my growth outside of the military. I think that I got a lot of education from, that section of my growing up. has been like the most impactful reach out from someone who's experienced a set from you at Good Life? And then you're like, damn, you really met me where I'm at. Do you recall a highlight, an interaction that stands out for you to this day?
Yes. Younger, going to New York since I was like 15, 16, like every other summer. There weren't too many venues to rap at that time other than the park. And I would just go to these coffee houses because I was into poetry too, from the Beat Gen, Beatnik, Allen Ginsberg, Baldwin, Langston Hughes, all that stuff, Jack Kerouac. As I was intrigued by the way they would curl consonants as well as vowels and the different beats and lack thereof, for their meters. And just when I started, somebody gave me one of those little books and I just fell in love with it. Took a look and I noticed it was lyrics. I wanted to learn more. And so there was a renaissance of that era. I guess they call it slam poetry now or things of that nature. But back then it was still in its early phases. And me as an MC, I would just go and rock my rhymes a cappella while they would snap their fingers and try to keep a beat.
Wow.
I got hooked on that coffee pretty tough, though.
Real dog.
So I remember meeting some people and then later on doing some songs, recordings, and learning the recording process. So there might have been a few people I might have characterized as mentors from the East Coast to the West Coast, and people that might have met me in a certain essence of where I was as an artist at that time, and might have even inspired change. Because as an MC, I remember my parents were into jazz music and played instruments. So once they realized I had that good music calling, they started to teach me some of the finer aspects of music and vocalizing and transcribing and making anything a song and improvising. Then getting older, doing records, learning even the classic Berry Gordy style of arrangement composition, let's say to try to make a pop smash, if that was the vibe, I don't know. I'd cite John Bukowski Jr. He played with Tina Marie and a variety of many others as a producer, keyboardist, and he helped me get my first formal record deal with Arista. Then I recall Greg Ski Royal. He was like one of the masters of the New Jack Swing remix phase of life and reality. And he would snatch, scrape, and cut those two tapes and then reshape them and do the music and maybe extend a beat break. And he would do that at studios like Larrabee Studios, and he taught me a lot. And he hired me to do one of my first reggae songs, which was a dancehall song, a remix I did for the Wailers, Bob Marley's band, the Wailers, and that song was called "A Friend." And so here I am around that time, late '80s, '90s. I do "A Friend," then I do Carmen Carter, a remix or something for her R&B tune, and I toured the nation. So that was my first nationwide tour, 40 cities, and learning things of that nature and coming back. And on the heels of that experience, getting back with some of my old high school buddies and crew from the neighborhood and finding open mic spots in LA, one of which was the Good Life. They also had a place in New York around that time called the Nuyorican Cafe, and that was Mouth Almighty. And this cat Bob Hope used to do that one. And there was also a couple other poetry spots, even in LA, Highland Grounds, a lot of coffee houses were poetry spots we could go get open. But the guys tell me, hey, there's this vegetarian cafe where we can get live on the mic. I'm maybe 18, 19, 20 at the time. So I'm like, okay, let me go there. So as I'm going there frequently and it gets more and more popular, I meet another brother. He might have got me by 10 years, if not more or less, by the name of Daryl Moore, JMD, Daryl JMD Moore. And he is an aficionado of music and jazz and all things, Lamert related. And mind you, I would go to Lamert Park in the mid 80s because I was looking for this guy, Ben Caldwell, because they said he had a movie called I Fresh that starred an a character called Microphone Mike, and that was like the hip hop movie he was working on. So I'm like, wait a minute, I'm the real Microphone Mike.
Right, taking your name.
And I would go there from time to time, you know, if I was in between spots or my mom was, whatever this reality was. It was kind of like my home away from home in a sense. And I would like to go there and it reculturizing that area at the time, you know, the late 80s, mid 80s. Then circa 90, you know, 91, 89, 90, that's when it was really in full swing again. And it became like Little Harlem in a sense of just, we call it Sankofa City now.
Mm-hmm.
However, you know, to be exposed, you know, by JMD to more of the finer elements of that area. And I had just picked up playing trumpet too.
Ooh.
And I played for many years. I got pretty nice. I was working out standards and tunes, but I stopped. It made me a better MC though. And I stopped producing as well for the most part, making beats, but it made me a better MC. There's records and stuff I played on, and I sat in with the cats. Nonetheless, what was really fresh and what was really the best in that era was just being blessed to know Billy Higgins and Horace Tapscott and to be able to sit in and play at the original World Stage and the Fifth Street Dicks, and to meet people that have since then won Grammys and platinum artists and stuff. You know, I cite Joseph Lineberg, Terrace Martin, Kamasi Washington, just name a few cats that was actually younger than me, but we're all coming up doing their thing. And I also cite, you know, Don Muhammad, just different people. Pharoah Sanders came through, so many, you know, Juno Lewis, rest in peace, so many artists that I was able to learn from, hang out with, maybe even smoke a little pot with, but mainly just marvel in the beauty of, let's say, the Pan-Africa orchestra, and just have a sense of flight listening to these people play, you know, from Michael Sessions to Dan Bagasol, to Randall Willis, you know, Nedra Wheeler, just male and female artists, singers, rappers, producers. But at the time, not too many rappers. I was like one of the first rappers that got up there, and I would sit in with the solo. And like you had said in your intro, kind of cutting that fusion line between rap and a transcribed jazz bop scat solo, not just by the lyrical content or how edgy or the way you make a tone or pitch shift. I wasn't digging that much in the melody because back then I didn't know that much about scales and notation and phrasing.
Mm-hmm.
So I would do more pitch shading, but I was able to kind of hear the bass and hear the spread on whatever the chord structure was being provided by, whether it was piano or guitar or something. I was able to kind of hit in a little bit. And if I knew the song in advance, I would kind of maybe work out some of the solos.
Mm-hmm.
And either I would have it already pre-written, but then I would kind of know where the solos went and I would freestyle where I thought I heard Miles or John, if they're bopping or something. And that was when I started to get accepted. So, you know, JMD played a part there, as well as a lot of the other older cats on through the years that taught me, and professors at different colleges and other artists and producers. And so where I was at then and those different moments, I'm happy to remember that there was someone there to kind of give me that bonus knowledge when I needed it at the time, that extra finesse, that extra panache, that extra savoir-faire, that extra, you know, tap on the shoulder, you need to go shed. You sound kind of sad. You know, you're kind of sucky right now. You need to go ahead and tone out, hit some whole tones or something. And amazingly enough, the embouchure for playing trumpet and a certain amount of instruments does complement the rap acts.
Well, you definitely make a difference. I know that in your new release or re-release, the deluxe edition of Suspiria that you did with Jade Rivers. Amazing. I'm like, everybody can't handle these grown-up tracks and these, you know, they're not a master of timbre and intonation and, you know, playing off of the sax or playing off of the trumpet or real live instrumentation, but you seem to obviously have polished that over the years because that's kind of one of your trademarks. I would like to know, what did you enjoy most about adding the new joints uh, to the new Suspiria?
I enjoyed the new Suspiria, a variety of things. I wanted to not only just keep the projects coming and work with different artists, but to find a way to just stay busy, you know. And I'd go and I'd hit with D-Ski, and he's worked with all of us for many years, you know, mixing, mastering, tracking, producing, and distributing music, and then getting to know Jade River from a couple of songs. I felt he was a good dude, and his heart was in the right place creatively. And even though it was more of I dare say, a fun project, uh, when I finally heard their approach to the mix and how everything, I was like, okay, it's an underground project, underground hip hop, but it has a certain clarity to it lyrically where I can kind of listen to it objectively and hear it almost for the first time. When I heard songs like Something Different, you know, and then you hear Optimist, or you hear the actual title track, New Suspiria. For example, New Suspiria's got like a lot of straightforward rap wordplay, whereas Wild Ride on that project, I think, is kind of like more of a kaleidoscope or collage of terms of free word association. And then, you know, on the Optimist, you know, or I think very deeply, you know, to borrow from KRS
right.
and tribute homage, just because of some of the elements of the way the break beat made me think, or that project in general, you know, is something that I still think about, because I still perform those songs. I like to perform New Suspiria because I thought he came off kind of cold back then. I don't know how many years old that project is. Where I said, active shooter training held captive by my explaining to these rapper students aiming to master the style and claiming respect. Riders react as I could see through you like a clear backpack. A hat coat-blooded knife for an axe on black gold. Vibe of a Mac. Inspect these fools rushing me like it's a cyber attack. They had a leak, a data breach, a mana piece. They had to teach a sucker MC strategy. The talking tree with dialogue. No honor in a pack of thieves. Time is money. I don't buy that for a second. It's a penny for your thoughts, or do you keep me second guessing? The tide turns against gain in a clean fight. I need to wash my soul of anything I don't deem right. You know, all them kind of lines, right? I'm like, I'm hotter than caldera lava in summer weather, partner, and spotted in a black Pantera with bald Yokohamas. How many cattle to feed? Only the fat and the meat banging is an onomatopoeia and battle fatigues.
Wild. See,
lots of wordplay.
Yeah.
Like when I say the second verse, I said, woman, I seen Uranus in a meteor shower with my naked eye, just entertain this Wikipedia browser. I'm a killer nova. Wildcat Villanova. My queen stays on the ball, serving shots like Serena and Kornikova. A dealer soldier, Duncan, drunk off power, but really sober. Straight shooters, no floor with pipes or Mariposas. I'm smoking the Ponderosas until I get really toasted. My flow cannot be contained. I'm spilling over. Lambasted and flabbergasted. Anyway, man, I can keep going on and on, but you know, I remember that rap had a lot of wordplay, and then I liked Something Different, that song, because the spacing and the phrasing and the momentary chopping and the rest notes between my verses, and just the way the beat bangs and moves, and Optimist, you know, I'm talking about, you know, vices and shit, but it still comes off in a positive way. So thanks for asking about that project.
Well, I asked because you just did the deluxe release.
Yeah, we just put out the deluxe thing. Yeah. And I also just released a new album 2 weeks ago called Teleported 3.
Okay.
Now, mind you, there's a Teleported 1 and a Teleported 2 produced by Freematic and Known Shadows. And those are in conjunction with this partnership I have with a motion graphic comic called Dark Moon.
Mm.
and you can see them all together on YouTube. It's called Dark Moon, and that's Myka 9 and Freematic. I'm actually a character in the last episode of it. I need to pump those more. And yeah, Teleporter 3 has a lot of gems. All the different songs are related in one way or another to the Dark Moon series. So I'm out there with the weird rap, noise rap, but chopping and flowing and still giving them stuff they could bump. And there's a few videos that went with some of those projects, as well as I'm almost done with Flavor Wolf 3, which is even more avant-garde kind of approach to the work I do with him, as well as last month putting out this book, this new book I've called My Kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
And they can get that at www.myka9book.com. And, you know, I think it's a good look. You know, I wish my dad or my mom was still here alive to witness, you know, the achievements. But luckily the kids are around as well as my friends. And, you know, hopefully people will continue to well receive it.
So Kaleidoscope, and I checked it out. Lyrics for 69 songs. And
well, I have over 800 to maybe 900 raps or songs or appearances or features or collaborations when you include the group tunes. So it would have been pretty lengthy to add more lyrics into it. And plus the publisher, shout out Parker Pubs, no doubt, they wanted to make it a visual piece to kind of highlight the rhyme patterns and schemes for those that might not have heard the songs before, to just get a deeper meaning in the way, you know, the rhyme scheme presented itself.
So it took you, what, 20 hours of interviews for them to compile this. And
yeah, luckily most of the people showed up, and most of the people close to me represented. There are a few people that weren't able to represent for one reason or another. But I like the story that it puts together, how it kind of confirms from multiple points of view this or that factoid.
Okay. I'm excited, you know, to share it with people. And I did a little write-up about it. I did mention it in an article.
I appreciate that.
I did on you for a while back, but I will plan to do a review and let me see if I'm still on your level. You know what I mean? I'm a little older, and I've been twisted, you know, by society and some of the things, some of the activities in my life, especially the military. So I'm going to see if I can think and flow freely the way that I'd like to in reviewing the book. So I'm looking forward to that. So stand by. I want to do it. And
I've been getting good reviews, so hopefully, you know, you feel like it's worth it. But either way, I appreciate your point of view.
Well, and, you know, I love your work.
Hopefully you get a chance to read it, not just peruse, you dig.
Oh, no. If I'm going to review it, I'm going cover to cover from the forward to that.
It's like a 1 day sitting, 2 day sitting. I don't know how complex your obligations are family wise, but I enjoyed it, man. And you know, I was in tears at different points of laughter, and tears of real tears too, because I made it a point just to skim through certain parts. And you know, you might get an occasional typo here or there, but they're able to correct it when I bring it to their attention in print. Nonetheless, overall, it's a crowning achievement, man, and I'm really grateful, you know, for everybody and all the contributors. And I just hope, you know, as many people as possible get a chance to read it.
Okay. It was really important to me, as we discussed,
Thank you.
DMs, that you know, I got to share you with our audience.
No doubt.
This is my non-VOA reaction to some of the, you know, negative comments that had come out by some unqualified people about our elders. And all the shine had gone to the East Coast. But for me, being a West Coast cat, there was very important benchmarks in hip hop for the West Coast, for the street, and for the underground, and how the street cats were supported and buttressed by the cats from the underground who had been doing it.
Indeed,
You
for a
know,
variety of reasons, to keep people out of trouble, to let them know that they rap. Like I wasn't into this or that form of rap. I wanted people to know that there's an artist within them. You can't be a star with you can't have an artist without the word star in it, like just. And so there was different kinds of underground that I picked up on since the 80s. Like we had Gangsta Underground. That's why I wrote, for the different crews that NWA and Eazy and Dr. Dre were promoting and campaigning for at the time. And as well as encouraging that, during the years of the good life, and that also contributed to a variety of different truces. So people are brave enough to get on stage and rap. Maybe they're brave enough to talk their differences out or resolve a conflict and not let it escalate. We were breeding young leaders as well, I'd like to believe.
I agree. I agree with you that there were forms of leadership. Sometimes, it's not getting in front of the mic and standing and going, red and blue come together, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's leading by example, providing
Indeed.
platforms and opportunities, and showing people this is how you lead from the front. This is how you, as we make our way out, this is how you lead the next generation to come after you. And some of those skill sets have been lost, I think, in the era of babies raising babies. You know what I mean?
Babies having babies.
Yeah. It was crazy, when they tried to take the power of the parenthood in order to weaken the family structure and the minds of the upcoming generations. Then hip hop provided that family, that outlet, other than the gangbanging and the negativity and things.
Oh no, it definitely did. Even nowadays, you got different forms of hip hop. Like you got the grandparents, they listen to Sugar Hill and listen to Curtis Blow and listen to, Houdini and Cold Crush and Melly Mel. And then you had their kids, like maybe like let's say us, that was listening to some of that, as well as bringing it on into LL Cool J and Run DMC and Karis One and Rakim. And then you got some of our first kids, and they was coming up, and they listening to Jay-Z and getting that club element, that and all that, that PI, whatever, the gang stuff. And then now you got a good 10 years of drill rap and trap rap and now, the UK grime rap. And then each one is able to go, I don't listen to that kind of rap. Or turn that off. But see, what's interesting is through all those different years, certain elements of hip hop have remained, be it the braggadocious, be it people in the dance to a vibe to it, be it the youth, be it the cross-cultural qualities of the hip hop music and rap culture, as well as that chop.
That chop. That's what it is. That's what
they still chopping. You got the stripper rappers out there chopping, feeding their family and shit. I love it.
Right.
I don't even always chop because I've been chopping since the 80s. I just like to do a different approach every time, or at least compliment. Try to bring something creative to the environment and keep it positive for the most part. So yeah.
I love your work, bro. It was, like I said, it was important to me that we shared you with the audience.
Well, man, I appreciate the time. I appreciate the highlight, and I appreciate the invite. And y'all hit me up anytime. It's all love. They can hit me up at MYKA numerical number 9 on IG, Twitter, Facebook, or put the .com on it, and that's the website. Again, they can get the book, www.myka9book.com, myka9book.com, at Lulu. And I got to shout out the Freestyle Fellowship, Haiku to Tom, Magic Heart Genies, Project Blow, the AM Radio, Good Life Crew. All the male and female artists, DJs across the board, and it's been a blessing, man, to be able to, do what I love and keep a roof over my head, you dig?
I appreciate that. I know the feeling. All right, everybody. The Hype Magazine Live Sessions. This has been the LA legend, Myka 9.
It's all love.
He is the man behind the men. Bottom line.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Worldwide, though. It's all love. Y'all stay safe out there, man.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Peace.